and welcome to today's session. So today we're going to cover Cognizant pattern again. We are sticking with Cognizant pattern since the drive is going to happen very soon. I will let you know the location and the dates very soon the moment I get to hear the official confirmation from AP State Skill Development Corporation, as this program is organized and facilitated by them. So let's begin. Today we're going to look at sentence improvement. In the second slot I will talk about synonyms and antonyms. Sentence improvement is going to be a little tricky and a little complex. In order to identify what kind of questions you will get, so you will get a question stem in which there will be a particular sentence stem which needs to be replaced with one of the options. Now the replacement has to happen only when there is a grammatical mistake in the question itself. In case if you do not see any error in terms of the question, then it's perfectly fine. You can just pick no correction required. Or sometimes what happens that the entire sentence may not be correct, or a portion of it will be underlined or bolded in different color. So these are the kind of scenarios that you will get. You need to look at the structural integrity of the sentence in terms of word order, mainly in terms of grammar. So once you identify what the grammatical mistakes are in terms of subject verb agreement or tense or singular or plural forms, you will be able to identify what is the correct answer. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about certain examples for you. I'll also tell you why one particular answer is correct and the remaining one are incorrect. In the course of this understanding and practice, I will also give you certain tips so that you can solve these kind of questions in your main exam. All right, so let's begin. Here is the first question. The workers are hell bent at getting what is due to them. That means the workers are demanding what they deserve. Hell bent means forcing or being adamant. The workers are hell bent at getting what is due to them. Now when you have the word hell bent, you need to figure, should it be hell bent at, hell bent on, for, or upon? Because hell bent is a compound word. When you have a word like this, the next word is something that you need to figure. Let me quote you an example. I'm going to open my Word document so that it's easy for you to see what I'm going to type. Okay, say for example we have a word in spite. Okay, now wherever you have the word in spite, it has to be followed by of. Now a lot of people make a mistake. If they have a word which is despite, they add an of. This of is not necessary. This is incorrect. For example, in spite of notifying the candidates in advance, they didn't turn up for the interview. Now I can have the same sentence written like this. Despite notifying the candidates in advance, they didn't turn up for the interview. Now if I have in spite, I need to use of. If I have despite, I should not be using of. All right, so that's a rule in terms of the structure of the sentence from the grammar point of view. So now let's look at this example here. The workers are hell bent at getting what is due to them. So the correct answer is hell-bent upon. Whenever you have the term hell-bent, it has to be followed by upon, getting what is due to them. Next, if the room had been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. If the room had been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. Now you need to understand and identify if there is a mistake in that red bolded underlined stem. If it does not have a mistake, you can choose option D. Okay, if the room had been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. Now this is a situation which could have happened but did not happen. So when you have a situation like this, you need to use the term had. For example, had the room been brighter, I would have been able to read for a while before bedtime. Let me give you an example. If I was rich, I would have traveled to Spain this year. Now this particular sentence is incorrect. Or for example, it should be, if I were rich. Now were is used only when your subject is plural, but here as a first person, I is a first person and a hypothetical situation, you are supposed to use were. For example, if I was the President of India, I would have made education free for everyone. Now if it's not was, it should be were. If I were the President of India, I would have made education free for everyone. So if it's a first person, if it's a first person and a hypothetical situation, in that case you will use were. Okay. All right. Next, the poor villagers have waited in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. The poor villagers have waited in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. And the correct answer is have been waiting, because it's still continuing. The poor villagers have waited in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. When we say now, it means it is still continuing, the time is still going on. That means we need to have a continuous tense. The poor villagers have been waiting in the bitter cold for more than 4 hours now. All right, let's look at the next one. The old man felled some trees in the garden with hardly no effort at all. Now here the term felled means he removed the trees or cut the trees from the stem. All right, usually felled is not in terms of tense, it's a verb here. Okay, for example, if I have the word fall, the past tense is fell, right? Now if I have the word felled, that means I have removed the trees. The old man felled some trees in the garden with hardly no effort at all. Now when I use the word hardly, that already means no effort, which means there are two words which is conveying the same meaning, which means one is redundant. So you cannot say hardly and then no effort. So hardly any effort is the correct answer. Okay, please remember, there cannot be a redundancy in a statement. So hardly means barely, means it's not there, it's as good as not there. So when I'm using a negative word, I don't need another word here. So that's why it will be hardly any effort. One common mistake that I have seen in southern part of the country, where people use, especially in AP and Telangana, they use the redundancy aspect. Let me increase the font size. They say I can able to come at 5 p.m. Now can and able both are same, both means ability. Please remember this, don't make this mistake when you speak. I have heard some very educated people also speak like this. For example, they say I can't able to meet you. You can just say I can't meet you, or I can come at 5 p.m. So once you have this term can or can't, you don't need the word able. That's a redundancy. So please do not use that. It sounds very funny when people talk like that. All right. Now, what is the difference between may versus can? May basically means seeking permission. Can means ability. For example, I can or I cannot. So in terms of may, when you go for interview, may I come in or may I sit. So if you say can I sit or can I come in, that basically means you are able to do that. If you can walk, when you open the door, if you can walk, obviously you don't have to ask can. For example, can I take the money from you? No, you cannot. Now may is seeking permission, can is merely an ability. So ability has got nothing to do with seeking permission. So when you enter the interviewer's room, please do not say can I come or can I come in. It's may I come in. You can, because you can walk, but you don't have the permission. That's what it means. So do not make the mistake between may and can. Likewise, do not look at the redundancy. Look at the redundancy and please do not use a redundant word. All right. Let's look at this example again. The old man felled some trees in the garden with hardly any effort. It should be instead of hardly no effort, it should be hardly any effort. The company goes to great lengths to ensure that employees can be comfortable in their work environment. Remember, it's environment, not environment. All right. The company goes to great lengths to ensure that employees can be comfortable in their work environment. Now again, can is an ability. The company puts efforts to ensure that the employees are comfortable. So the correct answer is are. The company goes to great lengths to ensure that the employees are comfortable in their work environment. Next, I want you to clearly understand that excuse won't do. Excuse won't do means excuses won't work. Excuses won't be entertained or excuses won't be tolerated or accepted. So let's look at the question stem again. I want you to clearly understand that excuses won't do. Options: I want you clearly to understand, I want you to understand clearly, to clearly understand you, obviously C is not correct, or is it D, no improvement? Here the correct answer is no improvement. It's not needed because my adverb is before the verb, which is perfect, no problem at all. Now what do we mean by adverb and verb? So let's take a quick recap. Okay, so we have noun, pronoun. So noun and pronoun, you know what it means. Pronoun is a substitute. Okay. Now we have adjective. Let me remove this. I'm going to give you example. All right. John went to London. He went by flight. So he is a pronoun here. John is a noun here. Now adjective is something that qualifies the noun, okay, or gives a quality to the noun. John is an intelligent person, so I have intelligent as adjective, correct? So let me zoom this out. I hope this is visible to all of you. Okay, here we go. All right. Now, what do you mean by verb? Verb means action. John plays cricket. So plays is a verb. Now what do we mean by adverb? Like adjective is qualifying the noun, adverb qualifies the verb. Okay? John plays cricket very well. So this very well is an adverb. For example, John is running. John is running fast. So this fast is an adverb. So if I have a sentence, my adverb should be so in this case you see the adverb is after the verb because it's a continuous form. Now let's look at this. I want you to understand, I want you to clearly understand that excuses won't do, because here the focus is not just understanding but clear understanding as well. Alright. Next, he was fined for careless driving. He was fined for careless driving. He got fined, he fined, he was to be fined. Please read, understand and then respond. He was fined for careless driving. And the correct answer is no improvement. It's perfectly fine, so we don't need to change it. Next question. The reason why he wrote the letter was because he could not contact him over the phone. The reason why he wrote the letter was because he could not contact him over the phone. Now let's look at the example. The reason why he wrote the letter was since he could not contact him over the phone, or the reason for which he wrote the letter because he could not contact him over the phone, the reason why he wrote the letter because he could not contact him over the phone, or no improvement. And the correct answer is option C. The reason why he wrote the letter because, so we don't need the was, because it already means that when we have the wrote, it already means it's a past tense. So we don't need the was again, that's redundant. Okay. The reason why he wrote the letter because he could not contact him over the phone. Next, as he is past his teens now, he can look for himself. Past his teens means he has already crossed the age of 19. 13 to 19 is teenage, right? It means as he is past his teens now, that means as he has crossed his teenage, he can look for himself. When you say look for himself means search. For example, if I may write a sentence here, he is looking for a cab. That means he is searching for a cab. For example, she is looking for a job. That means searching a job. Here is this person searching. Can I say as he is past his teens now, he can search for himself? Search what? Here it means the person can take care of himself. And take care means look after. As he is past his teens now, he can look after himself. Alright. Next, there is no more room for you in this compartment. There is no more room for you in this compartment. Options: there is no more seat for you in this compartment. There is no more space for you in this compartment. There is no more accommodation for you in this compartment. Please read, it's a little confusing question. Please understand and then pick the right answer. The correct answer is there is no more space for you in this compartment. Alright. Next, most donors would seriously protest any effort to extrapolate from such limited data. Most donors would seriously protest any effort to extrapolate means to extract, to extrapolate from such limited data. Options: protest against any effort, protest at any effort, protest to any effort. And the correct answer is protest against. You always protest against something, not protest at or protest to. If you had attended the wedding, you would have benefited a great deal. If you had attended the meeting, you would have benefited a great deal. I repeat, if you would have attended the meeting, you would have benefited a great deal. And the correct answer is no improvement, because it's absolutely fine. It's benefited because it's past tense, if you had attended. Next, if he would have tried, he would have succeeded. If he would have tried, he would have succeeded. And the correct answer is if he had tried, or had he tried, he would have succeeded. I can write it in two ways. Let me write this for you. If he had tried, he would have succeeded. Or had he tried, he would have succeeded. It will be no good trying to find an excuse next time. Means you cannot use an excuse next time. It will be no good trying to find an excuse next time. The correct answer is it will be A. It will be no good to try find an excuse next time. please remind me of posting these letters to my relatives. Please remind me of posting these letters to my relatives. When it says remind me, it should be reminding of something to do something, right? So, to is necessary here. So, please remind me to post these letters to my relatives. Please remind me to post these letters to my relatives. Now, in this segment, you will spot an error. So, it says read each sentence to find out whether there is any grammatical error in it. The error, if any, will be in one part of the sentence. The letter of the part is the answer. If there is no error, you can ignore. All right. So, here is the first one. In the next segment, we will look at more examples. I just want to give you a couple of examples now. So, this whole thing is one particular sentence, A, B, C. All right. The whole thing is one particular sentence. We discussed about the problem so thoroughly on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out. That's the entire sentence. Now, one among these is not correct. It is possible, or its probability is there that one among these three is incorrect, which means there is also a possibility that there is no error at all. So, in case if there is an error, you need to highlight or you need to select that particular statement, or you will select option D. Okay? Let's look at couple of examples. We discussed about the problem so thoroughly on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out. And the correct answer is A. We discussed about the problem thoroughly. It should be we discussed about the problem thoroughly on the eve of the examination that I found it very easy to work it out. All right. Next, an Indian ship laden with merchandise got drowned in the Pacific Ocean. Merchandise means items, products. An Indian ship laden with merchandise got drowned in the Pacific Ocean. It cannot be got drowned, it's drowned. An Indian Ocean laden with merchandise drowned in the Pacific Ocean. So, got is not needed. If I had known this yesterday, I will have helped him. If I had known this yesterday. Now, option A, stem A and stem B should give you the hint which one is incorrect. So, stem C is incorrect. It says if I had known, had means past tense, yesterday is past tense, but here it is future tense. So, if I had known this yesterday, I would have helped him. So, option C is the answer where the mistake is. One more example. A lot of travel delays caused due to the inefficiency and lack of good management on behalf of the railways. A lot of travel delays caused due to inefficiency and lack of good management on behalf of the railways. Now, the inefficiency is directly by railways, but not on behalf of them, right? So, option C is the stem where there is a grammatical mistake. So, these kind of questions you will get a lot. One particular segment will be dedicated for spotting errors or sentence improvement. In the next segment, I will cover more such examples of improvement or spotting errors. So, I'll see you pretty soon. Thank you.